All right, so this is disappointing. They're an online food delivery company called Grubhub. Okay, Grubhub, that's the name of the company. Okay, they sent a letter out to all of its employees and staff, basically telling them if you support Donald Trump, his rhetoric, his policies, or anything that he stands for, that you should put in your letter of resignation immediately. Can you get more biased than that? How could you go and tell your fellow employees that if you don't support who they do, that they need to resign, or if you support Donald Trump, who they don't like, that you basically have no right to work for the company? Unbelievable. I mean, or maybe it is believable. I don't know. At this point, it seems like anything goes. But yeah, it says here, if you voted for Donald Trump, you may not feel welcomed at Grubhub. The CEO of Grubhub, an online food delivery service, sent a company-wide email Wednesday suggesting the employees who agree with President-elect Donald Trump's behaviors and his campaign rhetoric should resign immediately. If you do not agree with this statement, then please reply to this email with your resignation because you have no place here, wrote Matt Maloney, co-founder of Grubhub. We do not tolerate hateful attitudes on our team. Maloney, a Hillary Clinton supporter, shocker, sent the email Wednesday afternoon with the subject line, "So that happened. What's next?" He made it clear in the email statement that he is personally stunned and deeply concerned with the results of Tuesday's election. He's very concerned. He says, quote, "I absolutely reject the nationalist, anti-immigrant, and hateful politics of Donald Trump and will work to shield our community from this movement as best as I can," Maloney wrote about Trump's supporters. He continues, quote, "I want to reaffirm anyone on our team that is scared or feels personally exposed that I and everyone else here at Grubhub will fight for your dignity and your right to make a better life for yourself and your family here in the United States." What a great man he is. Honestly, what an awesome man. He should be in prison, if you ask me, or exactly where this guy Maloney, who's full of a bunch of baloney, in my view, belongs. He goes on here, the CEO made it clear that he's particularly concerned that Trump's victory will empower others in his workplace to act out against marginalized groups, while demeaning, insulting, and ridiculing minorities, immigrants, and the physically, mentally disabled worked for Mr. Trump. I want to be clear that this behavior and these views have no place at Grubhub, Maloney explained, adding, if it were up to me, Trump would have been fired a long time ago. I think this guy needs to be fired. I think he needs to be immediately removed as CEO from his company and replaced with somebody that actually has a clue and that actually has some common sense. Because for you to threaten your employees and tell them to quit because they don't agree with who you wanted as president is absolutely ridiculous, and the man should be, if not removed from his position, should be locked in prison. And you could put him there with Hillary and Bill Clinton as far as I'm concerned. Wow. He goes on here again. Had he worked here, many of his comments would have resulted in his immediate termination. It's a good thing that Trump doesn't work for Grubhub, right? I don't think Trump would ever work for a company called Grubhub. Maloney tells Fox News that almost 20% of his employees have personally thanked him for the note. "I am not embarrassed by it," he said. The CEO said that he deeply respects the right of people to vote for whoever they decide, but that he simply wanted to reassure our employees that our company will actively support diversity and inclusion, regardless of national politics. This letter is noteworthy because it underscores the fine line between the intersection of politics and business, especially given the divisive presidential campaign of the past year and a half. Bruce Tulgan, author of It's Okay to Be the Boss, calls the letter extraordinary because while a CEO has a right to build the kind of corporate culture he or she wants, Tolgan advises business leaders to stay away from politics. And he's absolutely right. Much of that message could have been communicated without making direct references to the election, Tolgan said in Maloney's email. Anytime that you are taking out things or talking about things that are not at work, you're risking potentially alienating people, making people feel uncomfortable or unwelcomed at work. Well, you think, right? I mean, geez, this guy's like, get out of my company if you're a Trump supporter. Wow. Mark Horstman, co-founder and manager Tools, says that if he were advising Mr. Maloney, he would have recommended that he not send the note, particularly because he's the CEO of a public company. That note could be construed by its employees that someone who voted for Trump would be fired, said Horstman, who suspects that other CEOs have sent similar notes. It has a chilling effect on people's perception of their rights. While Maloney seemingly called out Trump supporters at his company on the one hand, the young CEO boasted about the company's supportive and inclusive culture on the other, saying he firmly believes that we must bring together different perspectives. Evoking Clinton's campaign slogan, Maloney says that we are, quote, stronger together. And he ends his letter to his employees by echoing Clinton's concession speech, saying Trump's administration deserves our open minds and a chance to lead. He ends the letter imploring his employees to, quote, stay strong, stay strong. Maloney, you belong in prison. You're full of it. And you should be ashamed of yourself for even sending such a letter like that out to your employees, making them feel comfortable, making them feel unwelcome in their job, especially when they work hard for somebody like you, who's obviously clearly biased against Trump in every way and has a problem with people that voted for him, and you shouldn't. I hope that you're immediately removed as CEO and you're replaced with somebody who's more fair and doesn't discriminate against their employees for their political beliefs and what they believe and what they stand for. It's absolutely ridiculous and has no part. But as the case with Donald Trump becoming president, we can probably expect more insane things like this happening, like the riots that are currently going on. And no, they're not protests, they're not peaceful protests, but the rioters going out, rioting, burning American flags, torching cars, beating people up, thinking that that's going to prove a point because they don't want to support Donald Trump as president. These are the times we're living in, guys. It's sad, but it's where we're at, all right? If you guys are new here, thanks for checking out my channel. This is CardsFan480. I am here on both Periscope and also YouTube. Feel free to subscribe on for both of those. Same name. If you look me up on either one of those, you can find me. Just links you up to my channels for both, all right? Keep bringing you guys all the latest breaking news, end times Bible headlines, the crazy events taking place in this world, but all leading up to the soon coming return of Jesus Christ himself, the only one who can fix this world, the only one that can fix the trouble that we're in, and who can bring perfect peace, okay? If you want to be a part of that, if you would like to accept Christ as your Lord and Savior, just leave me a comment, real simple. I'd love to pray with you. I'll just send you a quick comment and just write you with a prayer that you can say out loud to where you can invite the Lord into your heart, accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, and just come into the kingdom, okay? You'll guarantee yourself a home in heaven. I promise you it really will be the best decision that you ever make, all right? So do that if you would like. Also share this video if you would like as well on your various social media. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, whatever it is that you use, feel free to share this as well, okay? I'll be back with more, guys. Thanks again for checking this out. I'll talk to you guys again soon. God bless, and stay away from Grubhub.